Searching, solving mysteries in the night. Chasing shadows, finding answers, shining bright light. No one's left behind, in the darkness all alone. With a heart like a siren, she brings the lost ones home. Silent cries in the dark no longer have to be, for justice wheels keep turning, granny on the beat. Broken voices find their power, call out hope again. When these crime busters run, no victims left to pay. Bravery in her veins, truth she won't disguise. With a fire in her eyes, she's got nothing to deny. Granny fights for justice, never backs down from the call. For the voiceless and the missing, she'll stand tall.
Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing this wonderful day? Hello, Lori, Tammy, Andrea. Hello, Ginger. Good to see you. Prayer Warrior. Hello. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. All right. Have a missing child, Jaden Spicer. Jaden was last seen around 9 p.m. on August 5th at his home on Panbowl Branch Road in the Jackson community of Kentucky. It is believed that Jaden left his residence sometime overnight or early the following morning. Kentucky State Police troopers and search and rescue teams are actively searching the area. Jaden is described as a white male, 5 feet 1 inches tall, with a slim build, blonde hair, and blue eyes. He was last seen wearing blue Sonic the Hedgehog pajama pants and a matching shirt. Anyone with information on Jaden's whereabouts is urged to contact Kentucky State Police Post 13 at 606-435-6069. Kind of sad. All right, let's not forget Jonathan Wang, still missing, guys, March 30th of this year. He is autistic, presents himself as an 8 or 9-year-old. He does respond to his name. If you see him, please call 911. Last sighting was allegedly in Kirkland, Washington. Let's not forget our little buddy, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, $500,000 reward for Sebastian. He needs to come home to his dad. Needs to come home. Travis Decker is still out there, guys. Police are not sure if he is alive or deceased. If you do see him, he could look like any of these pictures. He could be clean shaven. He could be bald. He could have long hair in a ponytail the way he was last seen. He could have facial hair, beard. Any one of these ways he could be seen. He is considered to be armed and dangerous. If you see him, call 911 immediately and do not approach him. He's wanted for taking the lives of his 3 precious little babies seen here with their mom, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia. All right. Today, we are talking about these little cuties right here. Look at that picture. I love that picture. All right. See what I'm missing here. Hello, Kate. Good to see you. Anna. Hello. Yes, Prayer Warrior, I saw that. The Washington governor has been bringing attention to Jonathan's case, which is incredible. That's awesome. Hopefully people in Washington, around the Kirkland area, or anywhere around where he lived are paying close attention, right? Try to look for any of his tats would be the best way. Yeah. Yeah, isn't that a sweet pic? I saw it today on Facebook. It was Belinda had posted it and I had to grab it. I had to grab it. Look at Lily. Look at how happy she is. She loves her grandma. Loves her grandma. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Lola. That's awful. Yes, we will keep him in your prayer in our prayers for sure. So you can tell this is probably one of the last times that she had seen him because she hadn't seen him for about a year and a half before um, they went missing. So you can tell how little Jack is there. Lily hasn't changed much over the years. You know, Faye's got a little bit older looking, but other than that, she hasn't changed a whole lot. But I love that smile on her face. That's awesome. Love that smile. So today I wanted to go over that new article that came out from the Globe and Mail. And I'll share my screen. Let me get this off of here first. And we will go over it together. Maybe give you the whole screen. So it says a picture emerges of missing children's lives, but not their fate. Months later, there are still few answers about what happened to Jack and Lily Sullivan of Nova Scotia, but trauma and stigma have left their families and community farther apart. At her home in Middle Misquotable, I don't know how to say that, guys. Lily and Jack Sullivan's paternal grandmother, Belinda Gray, keeps a photo of their first day of school in September 2024. The children were reported missing to police on the morning of May 2nd. Deep in the middle of Nova Scotia, far from its quaint coastal town, sits Lansdowne, a hamlet of around 100 people in a cellular dead zone. It's surrounded by endless spruce forests, bushes like razor wire, and bogs that breed swarms of black flies. Like many faded settlements across the Maritimes, Lansdowne reached its peak more than a century ago. About 150 kilometers northeast of Halifax, it was once a busy railway stop bustling with Scottish immigrants who dug iron and copper mines deep into the hillsides. Today, those mine shafts are abandoned. One lone train a day cuts through a community with a melancholic blare. Most of the people here live a quiet rural existence in secluded homes scattered along backcountry roads that only the locals know, where chickens and large dogs roam free and the rusted skeletons of old vehicles sit marooned in the dirt. Much like American Appalachia, this once prosperous corner of Pictou County is now economically stagnant. 1 in 5 children live in poverty, higher than most other countries in the province. It's here where the lives of Jack and Lily Sullivan were implanted 2 years ago to a rundown trailer set back from Highway 289 with their pregnant mother and stepfather. They needed a place to live, and their step-grandmother, who owned the home, welcomed them to live with her. In this picture, you can see is Daniel, his brother Justin, I believe, and the home looked like around the time the kids went missing. Life for Lily 6 and Jack 4 inside the cluttered trailer in Lansdowne was chaotic. There were holes in the floor of the front stoop, tarps to protect the underside of the trailer from the elements, and so much racket from the lively children that their step-grandmother soon retreated to a camper in the driveway. Their stepfather, Daniel Martell, 34, with pale eyes and ropey arms, worked at the local hardwood mill. Their mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, 27, a member of Sipnekatik, I don't know if that's how you say it, First Nation, with chin-length dark hair, stayed home with their baby Meadow. Inside the mobile home, a large wood stove filled up most of the living room. The kids' artwork was pasted to the kitchen wall next to the sliding patio door that led to a yard where they spent hours playing next to the chicken coop. Lily chattered away to her dolls and stuffed animals. Jack turned over rocks and pieces of woods in search of bugs and worms. Outside the fenced backyard and up over a steep embankment, the children sometimes played in a small fort nestled beneath boughs of spruce. It was like their own little dream world. And this is a picture of that little fort and of the pail that looks like it was never used, but we had that picture of it. I'll stop here for a second and read what we've been saying. Okay. Hello, Tammy. Wow, you guys have been talking away. Okay. Kate, Anna, hello, hello. Okay. Yep, special thanks to the Globe and Mail for their content. Good try. You're welcome, Lola, of course. Yeah, that is sad. 1 in 5, right? Children live in poverty. That's awful. That's really awful. All right, let's continue on. Most days, Jack and Lily hopped on the bus to attend Salt Springs Elementary, a rural school about a 20-minute ride from their home. Jack, smaller than his peers, was strapped in at the front of the bus next to his sister. The morning the children were reported missing, the big yellow school bus rolled past the mobile home without stopping for a second day in a row. Jack and Lily were usually standing by the side of the road waiting to be picked up. But earlier that morning of May 2nd, their mother had marked them absent from school at about 6:15 a.m. Both parents have said it was because Lily had a cough. They said they say they heard the children playing in the next room while they dozed in the bedroom with their toddler. Daniel has said he saw Lily pop in and out a few times. At about 9:40 a.m., the couple says they awoke and realized the kids were gone. They were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet, she told CTV Atlantic. We get up and I tell my partner, Daniel, do you hear the kids? And he said, no. Instantly, we are looking outside. We are looking everywhere, yelling for them. Jack and Lily's mysterious disappearance has baffled the country. More than 3 months after they were reported missing, after one of the largest searches in Nova Scotia history, and an intensive police investigation, police still haven't confirmed the circumstances of how the young siblings went missing. It's possible that there were clues, even potential warning signs in their home life. A closer look into the lives of Jack and Lily shows that all was not well in the trailer in Lansdowne. Dum 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 dum. I couldn't help it just reading that part there. All was not well. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, guys. Oh, um, where that one went. Okay. Why that one's not showing up. Um, this is Malaya's dad, Henry Brooks. He remembers the last time he spoke with the children. Jack told him he loved him, and he said it's weighing on him very heavily. Dan Martell is on stress leave from his job at a hardwood mill. He says people in the community sometimes give him dirty looks, suspecting him of having something to do with the disappearance. That morning, Jack's blue dinosaur boots were gone. So were Lily's pink rubber boots and her white backpack with strawberries. The only clue left behind, according to the parents, was a one child-sized boot print in the dirt driveway a few meters from the home. Malaya called 911 at about 10 a.m. Daniel said he jumped in her white SUV and left to check nearby dirt roads, culverts, and streams. Soon, an army of search and rescue volunteers arrived wearing orange hunting vests. They fanned out, conducting a grid search in the swamp and thick woods around the home. Drones and a helicopter scoured overhead. A police dog on a leash with a handler set about the yard. Police combed every inch of the property. They rummaged through the mobile home, reached inside a hamster cage, tore apart a brush pile, unzipped the suitcase lying in the middle of the yard. They opened the top of the dryer at the end of the driveway and peered into the chicken hut. They searched the camper van where Daniel's mother, Janie Mackenzie, lived 3 times. That morning, Malaya messaged the children's paternal grandmother, Belinda Gray. I never thought they would run off on me like that, she wrote. I'm so distraught. Hours later, and still no sign of the children, Malaya floated the idea that Jack and Lily were abducted. Many are suspecting they were picked up by somebody, she texted Belinda, because there's no trace of them or Lily's backpack. Daniel, meanwhile, was tearing through the woods on foot and wading in streams, telling people he was moving faster than the police helicopters. That day, carloads of family members pulled up to help search. In the mid-afternoon, a non-encrypted radio channel crackled with voices of emergency responders. Families brought us to a location there not far away, that there's a piece of a blanket which a mother says she believes belongs to her daughter. Let me stop there and see what you guys are saying. Okay. Yeah, the suspense builds. Hi, Anne. Good to see you. Super Dan was active today discrediting the article, huh? What, discrediting the, well, we're going to get there. Yep, we're going to get there, Raven Sunstar. Hello, hello, by the way. D was like a movie hero. Super D to the rescue. Runs faster than the helicopters, goes through waist deep water. Oh, man. Okay. Hello, JDR, by the way. Good to see you. I'm in a mood today. Okay. So I need to go to the next one, huh? Emergency responders dispatched a canine unit to the site where they seized Lily's pink blanket torn and wound around the lower branches of a spruce. Okay, around the lower branches. It was about a kilometer from the mobile home, off the gravel Lansdowne Road where Daniel's father and uncles live. Interesting, guys. The road runs deep into the backcountry, connecting with dirt roads that snake further into the wilderness to remote lakes, backwoods dumps, and clear-cut tracts of land. When a police officer asked Daniel about the pink blanket, he said it wasn't Lily's at first. Police began pounding on doors into the early hours of the next morning. They came to the door of Daniel's father, Earl Martell, a retired plant worker who lives atop a hill in a bungalow he built himself 40 years ago. Officers peered with flashlights into the corners of his living room, jumbled with the craft supplies and Hot Wheels of Daniel's two school-aged biological children who often visit on weekends. Earl guided police into the yard to old campers, right here, and a derelict old cabin filled with junk, and to Daniel's older model black sedan in need of repairs he couldn't afford. Is is this the cabin or is this the living room? I'm gonna assume this was the cabin. I hope it was. Through the night, search and rescue volunteers comb the woods in helicopters and drones that can detect body heat scanned overhead. Malaya was up too, texting with Belinda. I have reason to believe they may have been taken by someone. They should have found them now if they were in the woods. Next morning, Belinda set out to help search for her grandchildren. As she drove toward the trailer on Highway 289 past the trail of orange traffic cones, it hit her where she was headed. Over the last 2 years, Malaya had distanced herself from Belinda. She stopped bringing the children to visit, later explaining that Daniel was jealous and didn't want her going there or giving out the address. Yeah, control. The grandmother said she had never been invited to the house. Until she showed up to help in the search, Belinda didn't know this was the home her grandchildren were living in, a home that she'd noticed multiple times on her way while driving to Halifax. Wow, wow, she says she thought as she stepped inside to speak to Malaya. Everything she saw, from the junk-strewn yard to the cluttered kitchen, was the total opposite of the neat and tidy woman she used to know. Even though she'd heard it once before, she needed to hear it again. What happened? She asked. Malaya opened the low, rumbling, sliding patio door in the kitchen, demonstrating how she assumed the children quietly left the home. Well, we heard that in the news thing. I didn't think it was that quiet. And this is pictures of Lansdowne and that bridge that they were talking about, which is pretty dry right now. That day, as search and rescue teams tramped through the woods, rolling ankles and plucking ticks from their skin, Malaya stood on the side of the highway in front of a local television camera. It's been raining and they're probably soaking wet, but with the sun today, I'm hopeful they're feeling warm, she said, swallowing back tears. We're all filled with pain and sorrow because we just want them found. We want them home. Everybody loves them. Perhaps it's because the home is so remote where few travel or have reason to pass by. Also, Nova Scotia Police require specific criteria to activate an Amber Alert, including a description of the child, abductor, or vehicle, and reasonable grounds to believe an abduction has occurred. In this case, RCMP have repeatedly said they have no such evidence. I asked them to go to every airport, all the airports, and intake for different provinces, Daniel said, breaking down. They will go with anyone because they're undiagnosed autistic. They will go with anybody. As long as you offer them food or water, say, I'll take you home to mom or dad, and they'll immediately go with them. It was late afternoon that Saturday when Daniel and Malaya's relatives began to turn on each other in the dooryard of the trailer. A discussion about meth use in the home led one of Malaya's family members to hurl an accusation that Daniel must have something to do with the children's disappearance. The charge ignited a blaze of angry words. Eventually, Daniel's mother, Janie, ordered some of Malaya's family members off her property. Just up the road, Daniel and Malaya waited at the search and rescue headquarters for an update from police. It was around supper time when officers pointed out on maps where searchers had been. Suddenly, Malaya said she wasn't feeling well. She walked out with Meadow on her hip. In the back of an ambulance, Malaya sobbed uncontrollably. Her mother, registered nurse Cindy Murray, at her side. Daniel pleaded with Malaya to speak to her alone, but her mother stepped in front of him. Cindy, get the F out of here, Daniel recalled saying. The woman hustled to Cindy's car, strapped in Meadow, and sped off down the dirt road. I love you, Daniel called out to his children through the rolled up back window. It was the last time the couple was together. After that, Malaya blocked Daniel from contacting her and later changed her Facebook status to single. My program is leaving out parts of my stuff. Daniel was also upset that Malaya left. I've been the only one there for them. He sobbed in an interview. She can't control them. Only I can. They act out whenever she's there. She always gets me to calm them down or get them to stop fighting or feed them or get them up and put them to bed every night. But didn't Daniel say that Malaya put them to bed the night before they went missing? But he puts them to bed every night. She was asking me to do everything. It just breaks my heart not to ever see everybody. The day before the children were reported missing, the Mounties say the children were observed in public with family members. It was the last time they were seen by anyone outside their home. Doggone it, it's all gone. Daniel has said in an interview that the evening before the kids disappeared, why won't it? Everyone was home. He said he spent the evening working on the fence in the backyard. It was a night like any other for the young children, though I couldn't remember what time they went to bed. There is, however, at least one account of strange activity at the mobile home that night. So basically, they heard a 5-speed car come and go from the trailer about 6 times from midnight to 5 a.m. after the children's disappearance. The neighbor considered it important information and reported it to police. So, what is this about cars, guys? Cars in the middle of the night. A car in the middle of the night took Sebastian away, allegedly. And now you have a car midnight to 5 a.m. coming and going. What's going on? Maybe I can try it. I wonder if I did it this way. Let me think. I just pull it up again. Aha. There. I pulled it up again. So it says there is, however, at least one account of strange activity at the mobile home. RCMP spokesperson Corporal Carly McMahon confirmed the police received a tip on May 8th from a neighbor who described hearing a vehicle come and go from the mobile home throughout the night before the children were reported missing. Now you know why they wanted those videos, guys, right? Okay. So let's. Okay. I feel like Dee running in front of the police choppers and stuff was trying to throw them. I agree. They're using heat sensor. That's really going to throw things off, right? He did that on purpose, I think. Yeah, I hope they check those dumps too. I agree with you. I think the heat is on and the walls are tumbling down. Yeah, I hope that was the cabin too. And not the living room. It was kind of ironic that they said 3 things, that they peered into the corners of the living room and then they, showed an old trailer and an old dilapidated cabin. And there were 3 pictures, so it was kind of weird. But Belinda said previously she forgot to ask to see and hear the sliding doors. I don't know. Everyone loves them, yeah. I didn't get that loving feeling from Janie either. She's lost that loving feeling. That's a really good question, JDR. I don't know. Yeah, he said it, but he does it every night, right? I feel critical things go unnoticed. Residents of Nova Scotia, I feel, have normalized poverty. Three trips in and out, moving the evidence. Why would you need 3 when there's just 2 kids? Yeah, Tammy, that's what it said right here in the article. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, really reminds me of Sebastian's case, right? Middle of the night, vehicles involved. There's no flashlights in this one that we know of. Yeah. Here's my question. How would the neighbor know it was a 5-speed vehicle? Well, what was Janie covering up? That all makes sense now, doesn't it, Tammy? Awful nice of the RCMP to leak out some information. Yeah. Don't squirm too much now, Super Dan. I think early on in the investigation, they said that on the first day they were checking neighbors. They probably told them, I mean, I don't know, guys, to look for footage. Allegedly, Sebastian did not have internet access. And there is absolutely no scent whatsoever of him leaving the house. But there were flashlights in the middle of the night going to a car that pulled up at 3 a.m. and the lights were on in the home at 3 a.m. So very suspicious, Osprey, very suspicious. I mean, could be. Could be. Hey, Bobby. We're just going over a new article stating that there was a vehicle seen going to and from the house from between midnight and 5 a.m. I don't know. But when anything is reported to RCMP, they have to follow it up. So the fact that, here's the thing, Tammy. The fact that the RCMP leaked this information, they leaked it to Globe and Mail. They talked to Globe and Mail. They leaked this information. That tells me something. Gotcha. By the sound, the engine is just shifting gears. Okay. Yeah, Tammy, I'm gonna believe what RCMP is saying. I'm gonna go with that. They are the only person that I'm gonna trust to give us facts, and they're the ones saying this. So, hello, Mr. Hemi. He did say he was working on a vehicle. I think that's why he was up during that time of the night. And here's the thing, our neighbors, even if they were having a beef, wouldn't they be quiet? They're not going to lie to the police. I wouldn't. I agree, JDR. Leaked on purpose, for sure. Yes. The woman police officer leaked this out, and she's the one that's been giving all of the official updates. It's the same woman. Okay, let's continue. For the next 5 days, search and rescue teams poured over the area. On the 6th day of the children's disappearance, police announced they were scaling back. It was unlikely, they said, that the children were still alive. In the following week, searchers returned twice more. They zeroed in around the home and the natural gas pipeline, a clear-cut trail of land that runs through the countryside where a possible child-sized boot print was found. Lily's blanket was also nearby. Police divers scoured nearby. They scoured lakes, they drained the septic tank of the mobile home, and inspected 4 abandoned mine shafts in Lansdowne, a search that's eerily familiar for locals. In 2002, amateur mineral explorers discovered the remains of a man who had disappeared 19 years earlier in one of those old copper mines. 39-year-old Alex Penny's car was found abandoned on a dirt road in Lansdowne months after his mysterious disappearance. It's a chilling homicide that has never been solved, one that rattles around in the collective memories of the people who live there. Get this, guys. Police have said they plan to search more of these old mine shafts for the children. A provincial database shows 5 within several kilometers of the mobile home. Dozens more pepper the backwoods and rural highways of Pictou County. So, guys, I know that somebody asked me that in chat recently. Yes, they have searched some and they plan to do more. Police have described the case as highly unusual. Most missing person cases are resolved shortly after they're reported to the police. But the disappearance of Jack and Lily has become a complex and intensive major crime investigation involving a tremendous amount of careful, deliberate investigative work, said RCMP Staff Sergeant Rob McCammon in an update last month. The Nova Scotia government offered up a $150,000 reward for information. So far, the Mounties say they've drawn on units from other provinces, interrogated dozens of people, sought 10 judicial authorizations to seize records or search warrants, administered polygraph tests, took possession of electronic devices, viewed thousands of video files, and are awaiting forensic tests on items found during the search, including Lily's pink blanket. Daniel initially told police and the Globe on May 5th that the pink blanket found in the woods did not belong to Lily, but he later changed his story. Oh my gosh, guys. Do you believe that? He changed his story. In a subsequent interview, he suggested the blanket was planted, taken from his week-old garbage. Oh, Daniel. He also claimed two of his sweaters. Yeah, sweaters, and then now they're t-shirts or something, right, guys? Mysteriously disappeared from his home after the kids went missing. He declined to elaborate further. Behind the scenes, people concerned for the children's welfare had already raised red flags. A child protection supervisor in the nearby town of New Glasgow rushed to prepare a memo for Deputy Minister Craig Beaton about Jack and Lily on the day the children disappeared. According to redacted briefing notes obtained by the Globe through Freedom of Information legislation, 2 weeks later, in mid-May, another memo about the children was prepared for senior staff in the province's Child Welfare Department. Opportunities and Social Development Minister Scott Armstrong, who also told the Globe he asked for more information about his department's interaction with the children, has so far declined to discuss how the government responded to concerns about Jack and Lily's well-being prior to their disappearance. What is known about Jack and Lily's interaction with child welfare authorities is that a social worker came to the trailer over concerns raised by the school several months before their disappearance to assess their home life. Teachers and other professionals who work with children have a legal duty to report if they have reasonable grounds to suspect a child may have, is, or is about to suffer abuse, and home visits occur when there's reason to be concerned about a child's safety and care. Daniel, however, told the Globe the visit was related to the kids' learning difficulties at school. I don't believe that. He said the children were suspected of having autism and were scheduled to see a doctor the same month they vanished. He declined to answer further questions about the involvement of child protection staff in the kids' lives. From the outside, there were signs the children's home life was strained. They were developmentally behind other children and arrived at school grubby and without appropriate winter clothing, prompting staff to provide it for them. According to a school board employee with direct knowledge, the Globe is not identifying the source because they're not authorized to disclose details about students. Guys, this I have to stop for a minute. This absolutely breaks my heart. That they arrived to school grubby and without appropriate winter clothing. Lori, I think they just release enough information to put pressure on. That's what I think. Um, Let me look at something here. Just checking on something here, guys. Hang on. Okay. So, regarding Globe and Mail, I knew somebody would have something to say about that. I actually found out some information about it. The Globe and Mail is owned by Woodbridge, the investment arm of the Thompson family. The Globe has won more national newspaper awards than any other news organization in Canada and has been honored with multiple Mishner Awards for public service journalism. So that's good enough for me, guys. Good enough for me. They've won awards. How did it say? They've won more national newspaper awards than any other news organization in Canada. Yeah, we don't know what they wore to bed. That's all up in the air. I don't think so. And the reason that I say that is, I've owned my own four-wheeler. They don't sound like a vehicle shifting. There's no way you can kind of make them sound like that. I agree with you, JDR. They said it on day 6, right? They knew that they weren't alive. So, Raven, my question is, do you believe everything that Daniel says? He lied about the blanket. It says it right here in the news media. I can't take anything Daniel says as at face value at all. I just can't. He's lied too many times. So he said he was outside working on the fence when Malaya put the kids to bed. So how did he know what they were in bed in? Allegedly. The only way he would really know what clothes they had on was when he took them out, in my opinion. Really? I've never heard of that. That's something new I never knew about Osprey. Right, Bobby? You changed the story again. I get that, but I just have a hard time going with what he's saying. I'm not going to say that as fact here because he he has lied so many times. Anything that he says, in my opinion, is suspect. Is suspect. Mr. Hemi. Yeah. Um Probably has been. I mean, they probably would know who I mean, because really, guys, they're not supposed to leak that information. Yeah, that's why they shut the search down, guys. Yes, it does, Tosima. Hello, by the way. Hello, Leslie. Yes, it is sad. I agree, JDR. You know, the exact words, they arrived at school grubby and without appropriate winter clothing, prompting staff to provide it for them. And that would be me. I always wanted to be a school teacher, but that would be me. If I knew that these kids were always showing up, I'd go out, I'd buy them some stuff, right? And have it. I'd have extras for kids, right? Extra mittens, extra scarves and boots and I would have extra stuff there. That's a good point, Osprey. Yep, because Wade said they knew, right? Did she report it? I doubt it. Well, the RCMP talked to this news agency, Wendy. So they're working behind the scenes. I know some schools have clothing bins for teachers in case a child soils their clothing or comes with dirty clothing yeah, yeah, absolutely. I don't know. Maybe this reporter was banging down their door. I mean, I don't know, guys. Yeah, mine wasn't. And it wasn't automatic. It wasn't didn't have 5 speeds. Well, no, yeah, it didn't have 5 speeds, but um it had four-wheel drive. So I had to put it in for high or for low, right? But I don't consider that like a 5 speed. I agree with you, Osprey. You know, one of the things that Belinda said at the end of this, and I'll just leave it there, it just hits. It just hits and goes along with what you're saying here. Well, you know, I guess I will believe him for that because his mother named him and she called him Daniel. So that's one thing I will believe. Yeah, that's sad. Having to de-lice children. Hello, trees. Good to see you. Desperate times, desperate measures. I agree with you, Bobby. Yes, I agree 100%. Can we talk about Lily and Jack and not about the news agency? If honestly, if you don't like them, that's what I'm reading. I'm sorry. Okay. That's true. We would have to ask the RCMP officer. But then again, I wouldn't ask the RCMP officer because they have enough to do with Jack and Lily's case without having to answer why they went to this news source because somebody doesn't like it versus another news source. Maybe because they get all the awards in Canada. I'm just saying. I agree. All right. So that's the end of that now, guys. I don't want to talk anymore about Globe and Mail. Okay. This is about Jack and Lily. It's about Jack and Lily. So let's see. Last December, Jack came to school with a black eye, according to a photo of him posted by his elementary school. The photo of the class trip on December 13th, 2024, 5 months before he and his sister disappeared, shows him sitting next to other students in the forest with a green and purple bruise below his left eye. This is that picture, guys. It's as big as I can get it. I hope you guys can see it all right. You can see he definitely, I think part of it's covered up here. He also had a split lip and there's a bruise here as well. And you wonder why this child was a sober child, why he didn't smile much. Oh, sorry, that just really gets to me. Another photo shows a possible black eye and bruising on Jack's face in a photo taken in September 2024, an injury that Daniel defended on social media, saying it was caused by Lily. Oh, Daniel, you're such a liar. Daniel did not respond to questions asking how Jack received the black eye in December, but in private Facebook messages that were shared with the Globe, he acknowledged Jack had many black eyes. One time, Lily punched him in the face. Guys, do kids fight? Yeah, they do. But I'm going to tell you something. If kids are giving each other black eyes, then what's wrong with the parents? I don't believe, let me get this straight though. I don't believe for a minute, not one single second, that Lily ever gave Jack a black eye. Remember, Malaya said that Daniel used to throw his boot at Jack. Well, that's what that looks like to me. He also said Lily had a black eye when the children went missing from an incident with a Tonka truck that occurred on May 1st, the day before the children disappeared. She pushed down on the truck and it swung up and hit her in the face. Okay. Granny, after reading the article, what, in your opinion, do you think happened to Jack and Lily? You know, Ginger asked me that question earlier, Anne, and I am honestly confused a little bit. More and more, I am feeling as though Daniel is more capable of abuse than maybe even I gave him credit for in the beginning. Did he do something? Possibly. I just don't know, though. But I do know that he and Malaya covered it up. Hello, Seawood. Good to see you. Yeah. How can a social worker ignore them? Yeah, that whole cheek is swollen. If you look at it closely, guys, it's all swollen there. Where this is straight, this is all puffed out. It's lucky he didn't have anything really bad wrong with him. I've had to call FACS several times. Children were taken by time parents came to pick up. I had parents threaten me, slice my tires, throw a rock. Yeah, that's awful. Sorry you've had to go through that because you're trying to do the right thing, Osprey. Well, we don't know much more than that, do we? That's all they're going to tell us. They're not, if RCMP knows who it is that why they're leaking this information? I'm just saying. Yeah, it's very sad. I agree. Not by a child. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's right. Lily was Jack's buddy, caretaker. Yep, it's mandatory to report any suspected child abuse, which it sounds like they did. School did. That's why CPS was called, guys. I agree with you. I agree with you. I think she would scream. What would happen to her then? If, let's just put it this way, if someone was abusing Jack and Lily screamed, then what would happen to her? Oh, I don't like where that's going at all. Yep. Or his boot. Either way, you throw things at children, it's abuse. think postpartum played a big part. I'd like to hear that from Malaya. We've heard it from Daniel through Belinda, right? And Belinda was just trying to find an answer for what Daniel was telling her, because what Daniel was telling her was unlike the Malaya that Belinda knew, right? So I'd really like to hear from Malaya whether she had postpartum depression. It's been proven that pregnant moms that have been abused, their babies' brains are underdeveloped. They are in a constant state of vigilance till the trauma is dealt with. Yeah, definitely a cover up. Hi, Robin. Yeah, it makes all of us sick. And I know my voice was cracking, guys. I can't help it. Why looking at this and hearing about this just makes me so angry and so upset. I agree with you, JDR. I agree with you. The more info that is revealed, the more our suspicions are confirmed. Unfortunately, right, JDR? Unfortunately. You know, RCMP will release information, guys, in order to put pressure. Not enough to put pressure on their suspects, right? But not enough to tell the public everything. Many people knew this was happening and did nothing to stop it and protect these poor children. Yeah, this picture bothers me so much. Part of me wants to see what's under his hat there by the eye, and then part of me doesn't want to see it. You know what I'm saying? I don't really want to know, and that's awful. Because Malaya has lawyered up, from what we've heard. Yeah, and that should not be, right? That should not be. Children should have somebody that they can feel that they can trust. I don't think they had anybody in that household. Just sad. Oh, Anne, thank you so much. You're so sweet. I appreciate that. Um, okay, so let me look at something here. Everybody hit that like button, because we get up to 30, I have updated our video. And you're gonna want to see it, trust me. It's gonna get us laughing instead of crying like we are now, right? I agree. This article has challenged the credibility of all the adults around Jack and Lily. Oh gosh, I remember hearing that too. Wow. Children children do what they know. Children copy. Oh man. Well, good point, Ravenstar. Good point. Yeah. Me too, Osprey. Me too. Yeah. I agree. A lot of police forces drip out information on tough cases. Guys, their goal is to crack the case, right? Yeah, I will. I was trying to get caught up here real quickly. Oh, Ginger, thank you so much. Lacey says thank you too. Hello, Brian. Good to see you. Yes, they do mention a YouTube channel. Okay, so let's continue on. Let's see where are we at with our likes. Come on, guys, hit that YouTube or hit that thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up. All right. The family was under pressure. A confluence of financial woes left the couple turning to relatives for help. Like many lower tier workers at the mill, Daniel had been cut back to one shift a week during the spring thaw because of an annual ban on heavy logging trucks on soggy local roads. His car, off the road because it needed repairs he couldn't afford, wasn't drivable, and he had to rely on his uncle, who also worked at the mill, to take him to work, or Malaya, whose maternal grandmother had recently helped her buy a white Nissan SUV. Daniel's father, Earl, said he bought the couple groceries and gas and provided firewood to heat their home. Daniel, however, denied having money problems and had claimed to friends that he was getting into investing and turning his life around after a divorce. Other means of cash flow had also been cut off. In recent months, child support payments from Jack and Lily's biological father had stopped after he lost his job. Malaya's monthly Canada Child Benefit Check or baby bonus, which under federal guidelines would be about $1,900 per month, was halted because Daniel hadn't filed his taxes, which were due by April 30th. The struggles didn't end there. Malaya described Daniel as controlling and said she wanted out, writing in a message to Belinda on June 15th that I never wanted to stay there. Belinda wrote back saying she wished Malaya would have reached out. We would have done what we could to help. I know, Malaya responded. My mom is saying the same thing. I'm going to say something here. Okay. Just going to say something here really quickly. She never wanted to stay there. But Wade said that they had the rent a truck, the U-Haul or whatever, ready to move her out. And she said, no, I'm going to stay. That's on Malaya, guys. Cindy, Malaya's mother, declined to be interviewed. After the children's disappearance, Malaya also confided in her paternal grandmother, Connie Brooks, a member of Sipnekatik, I don't know, First Nation. She described, and I don't mean to be, you know, dissing First Nation people. I just can't say that word. So I want to make that clear. She described how Daniel would hold her down and take her phone. He was having her, I don't know what you would call it, scared. She couldn't go anywhere, do anything, Connie said. That's what she told me, and that's what I told the detectives. When she asked her granddaughter about rug use in the home, she said Malaya told her that Daniel concealed a drug addiction for nearly the first year of their relationship. Daniel did not respond to questions about these allegations, but he has insisted in interviews with the Globe that he's never struggled with rugs and does not have a rug problem. But despite that, he has admitted to taking methamphetamines and pretty much everything. He said he recently started attending Narcotics Anonymous 3 times a week and is taking online courses in anger management, depression, parenting, child protection, substance abuse, suicide, and violent behavior that are recognized by child protection officials. I have to clear my name for CPS. It's best to do that. Guys, first of all, I'm going to say this. When you're mandated to take those classes, it doesn't do you a flippin' world of good. It doesn't do you any good. It will not sink in. It will not help. It's only when a person really wants to turn their life around and they take those classes and they take them to heart that change can begin. But the fact that Daniel keeps lying, changing his stories, even admitted to, by the Globe, right? Come on. He lied about doing rug use to the Globe, but he's going to Narcotics Anonymous 3 times a week, guys. Hello, Neuro. Good to see you. I'm just checking back to see where. 15 thumbs up and we hit the big 40. Oh, we're at 30. Okay. All right. So we're at 30. I will play my updated version of the video. Got to update it once in a while, right, guys? Hey, Walla isn't here yet, is he? He's going to miss it. Or she.
Girl's got a swagger, a wild little flair. Struts like a model, doesn't even care. Too sexy for his chair. Yeah, he's floating on air. Too sexy for his chair. Too sexy, he don't care. White girls bouncing, he's a walking affair. Oh, Durwood, you're too sexy for your chair. His reflection winks back, yeah, it knows the deal. Every step he takes, it's a catwalk reel. The world can't handle, oh, the way he feels. He's got that vibe, that glow. A little too much, but we can't say no. Too sexy for his chair. Too sexy, stop and stare. White girl shining, he's beyond compare. Oh, Durwood, you're too sexy for your chair. He's got that vibe, oh, that glow. A little too much, but we can't say no. Too sexy for his chair. Too sexy, stop and stare. White girl shining, he's beyond compare. Oh, Durwood, you're too sexy for your chair. He dances through the kitchen, spins in the
can't help it. Every time I had to end with that one. Oh man. All right. Has anyone seen all of Darren's interview? No, I don't think anyone has seen it. Has it come out? I don't think so. I think they got rid of Lily and Jack because they were talking and what was ever was going on in that trailer property would be exposed. Yeah. They were a big threat to all of them. Yeah. Well, he says he is. He's going 3 times a week. He's also taking anger management, depression parenting, child protection, substance abuse, suicide, and violent behavior classes. It's not as good as I would have liked, but it's almost funnier, right? Just going back a little bit. Yeah, never had a problem, but now he's going to NA 3 days a week. Yes, prayer warrior, exactly. Nobody goes to NA unless there's already an issue, unless there's court order and don't see their issue. Yep. Okay. So let's see. I don't know if he's retained a lawyer or not. Yeah, I think so too, unfortunately. All right, so let's see. Um, Without answers, theories abound. For some, maybe there's a way to hold out hope or to shift attention elsewhere. There are those who believe the children are still alive, taken or hidden somewhere. Personally, somebody asked me what I thought after reading this article. That hasn't changed, in my opinion. The kids are not alive, I don't think. I believe they were dumped in water. I'm just not real sure about what exactly happened to them, though. Rugs could be it. Profiler Pat Brown went to that as well, and she didn't even have all the information. She had a couple things wrong in her video on the kids. So yeah, we all know about the rumor and the chief calling out racism. I'm not going to get into that. The vacuum of information about the missing kids has stoked a voracious demand for clues and conjecture on social media and in the online true crime community. One of the most online sources in the true crime amateur community is It's a Crime and Shame, a Vancouver-based YouTube channel, which has morphed into exclusively discussing the case. Its live streams about Jack and Lily have been viewed 500,000 times. For several hours, multiple times a week, host Sunny Austin invites guests on the show to discuss the case and rants provocatively, calling out those who she disbelieves in the case of Jack and Lily. Daniel frequently pops up in her live chats like a whack-a-mole, she says. Belinda has also called in as a guest. Most recently, she presented text messages with Malaya, who then, reached by phone, refused to verify whether the text messages were hers. Malaya has also repeatedly declined to be interviewed by the Globe, saying police advised her not to speak to the media. She said she has put her faith 100% in the authorities to find Lily and Jack. On the ground, the high-profile case has also conjured up other drama. Recently, a local online content creator arrived at the home of Leia's mother, Cindy, under the auspices of buying a horse trailer. The man surreptitiously recorded a 45-minute interaction with her partner, Wade Paris, discussing the missing children and posted the video online. In interviews with the Globe, Daniel has said he had nothing to do with the children's disappearance, and he said he has passed a polygraph test with police to prove it. Yeah, right. He lamented the stigma the case carries over into his everyday life. And, I will say, I'm sure that that's rough. He's on stress leave from the mill. People stare, give him dirty looks when he goes out in public. Recently, at a used car dealership, he said a salesman snatched a vehicle key from his hand and walked away when he realized he was talking to Lily and Jack's stepfather. His Facebook is filled with direct messages from strangers calling him a child red rummer. Where are the bodies? He said they ask every day. I am going to say this, guys. That is not necessary, in my opinion, right? It's not necessary to be calling him anything, going on his Facebook and doing that. It's stupid. Don't understand why people do that. Leslie, thank you so much. Appreciate you. That's so sweet. You guys are awesome. Just thank you for. Oops, wrong one.
Granny wants to thank you all for kindness in the chat. Super stickers, bright and grand, gifts of love we understand. Memberships you gifted here, spread the joy and banish fear. Every super thanks you send warms her heart and ends the end. Granny cheers with love so true for each special thing you do. Thank you from her heart. You all play a major part.
Thank you. All right. So I'm just going back to read what you guys said. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't fall off his chair first. Gosh, Lori, I do not remember. I'm going to have to think about that or go back. I don't remember, honestly. I agree. Just Googled violent behavior class in the States. It's a court-ordered class for DB. Just saying. Is it in Canada court-ordered? Robin, they could, but not if they're in the ocean. With all due respect, I don't think that they're going to tell Belinda everything about their investigation. They're going to keep a lot of stuff under the vest, guys. Hello, Sharon. Once the finger is pointed at them, they're going to do everything to discredit what's being said about them. Absolutely. I'm pretty sure it was known early on, once she went to the res, the chief's brother became, that's right, the chief's brother became her lawyer. And I'm trying to remember who said that. Boy, was it Durwood? Might have been. But actually, I will say this. Wade confirmed it when Wade talked in that video. Wade confirmed. We blew your theory, Osprey. That's funny. Oh, wait, that's right. Wade said she was. Gotcha. Well, I don't know then, guys. I don't know if she has a lawyer or not. Yeah, come to think of it, Wade said she didn't have money for a lawyer. The writing on the mirror? What writing on the mirror? Tammy, it isn't that we don't believe Belinda, but they're not going to tell Belinda everything. And here's the reason why I believe that. Because she has done and is doing everything that she can do to find her grandbabies. And I get that. I get that. But they wouldn't want her saying things. They wouldn't want to be telling her what's going on in the investigation and saying things that shouldn't be said, that might, cause a problem in the investigation. And that's a well-known fact with any law enforcement agency. You know, are they kind to the relatives? Of course they are, but they're not going to tell them everything. And they may even lie in order to keep things close to the vest. That's just what I feel. But it doesn't mean I don't believe Belinda. I do believe Belinda. Here's the thing. I don't think they care that Daniel was using rugs, or that he maybe even sold them, distributed them, made them, whatever, because I don't think he was very big into them. If they're looking at rugs at all, I think it's to do with whether that's possibly how the children lost their lives. That's where the investigation is going, I think. Just imagine how Janie is after this. Must be having a fit. Can't imagine. Yeah. I mean, guys, in this kind of a case, they're not going to say they have any suspects, but you can be sure they've got their eye on people. Um, no, I don't have it anymore, Ginger. I love you forever in lipstick. Oh, allegedly, yeah, I do remember reading something about that. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that, Seawood. Yeah, the money thing was kind of surprising to me, right? I thought Daniel was living off of her money, but he even messed that up, huh? Yeah. I mean, that's just standard. So standard. I mean, that's standard in Canada, that's standard, I mean, everywhere across the world. That is how they work, exactly. Well, she was living with Daniel, and he did not file his taxes. Falsely claiming Daniel's children on their taxes. That's not good. Yeah, so much stuff. Okay, let's finish. Um, but then a Facebook profile that the Globe has previously communicated with Daniel on also appears in social media chat groups frequently, offering up riddles and conjecture that the children were taken by someone they know and are being held prisoner. As long as I remain the target, the sick person, or persons that have the kids may relax and make a mistake. RCMP better capitalize on that. His mother, Janie, had said she also believes the children are still alive because she says they have never gone into the woods by themselves or wandered off. A self described hermit, it took her more than 2 months to speak publicly, doing an interview for CBC and releasing memos in a public social media chat. She said she heard the children playing in the backyard from inside her camper on the morning they disappeared, and she too believes someone took them. In Malaya's Micmac community of Zipnekatik, her father, Henry Brooks, is hopeful his grandchildren will be found. He says the last time he spoke with the children, Jack told him he loved him. It's weighing heavy on me, he said, really heavy. At her home in Middle Musquodoboit, I don't know, God, some of the names, guys, just get to me. Belinda spends her days alternately tending her sprawling back garden and advocating for her missing grandchildren. She appears on YouTube live streams and social media chats, picking up breadcrumbs along the way that she hopes will lead to Jack and Lily. In her blue and white kitchen, where Jack once crawled across the laminate floor and Lily hammed it up in her gardening hats and old eyeglasses, she is resigned to a grim reality. I want to put up this picture while I show you guys that, while I'm reading that. Her blue and white kitchen. I think somebody there must know what happened, she said about the mobile home in Lansdowne. I don't believe my grandchildren are alive, but to not get answers, it's like, no. No, there's answers out there. 2 kids don't just disappear in the morning and nobody knows nothing. So if they don't find answers outside that home, then the answers are inside that home. In hindsight, she says, and how many times have I said this, guys? People have gone after Belinda because she didn't fight harder. In hindsight, she says she wishes she would have pushed harder to see the kids, to see Lily on her birthday in March. Looking at photos of the children from the past 2 years, she noticed they looked thin, possibly malnourished with dry, cracked lips, something she says she might have picked up on had she seen them in person, and it makes her wonder about the other adults in their lives. She recently learned others had concerns about the children's safety in the home. She also wants to know what child protection social workers knew prior to Jack and Lily's disappearance, whether they suspected the children were being abused and what was being done about it. And here is the final note. I hate to say it, but every one of us failed them, Belinda said. We all failed these kids. And with that, I can't imagine her heart must. Uh, Exactly, Sharon. Most parents would do without a meal, without new clothes, new shoes, so that their children would have what they needed to flourish and grow. Exactly. I know. And when you look here at Belinda with those babies, even Jack has a little bit of a smile on his face, guys. But Lily's all smiles, right? Daniel is nothing but a screw up. No wonder Janie has such a bad attitude. You know, apple doesn't fall far from the tree, I'm thinking. Yes, I'm glad too. You know, and I have deep respect for her for the last statement that she made, right? Deep respect because she knows her grandbabies are gone, right? She knows they're gone. And for her to say, I hate to say it, but every one of us failed them. We all failed these kids, right? That couldn't have been easy for her to say that. Oh, that's good. I'm glad. You know, it bothers me that I can't say the names right because I don't want anyone to think, I kind of chuckle after I say it because I don't know if I said it right or not, and I don't want people to think that I'm being racist or anything, right? Because that's the last thing that I am. I don't know. It does look as though Malaya didn't have um the hair dye, the makeup, the nails, and everything that she used to have before. Yeah. Or was Here's what I want to say. Let me get that off of there once. And I'm going to go back to that picture of Jackie because it looked like his lip was cracked open. Was that dried lips or was that a busted lip? What do you think, guys? I'm not sure. It's kind of hard to see. I agree with you, Osprey. People neglect themselves and their children when they're on rugs. Wendy, no one's blaming Belinda. If that's what you took from this, then you're wrong. No one is blaming her. People have stated it, I said, but not that I agreed with it. Hindsight is 2020. We could all look back and say we could have done something different. So in my opinion, they removed the children and then came back for the boots and the backpack. Could be. Yeah, that's kind of what I think too. Yes. Bruise, black eye. So there's a black eye here, and this is all, you know how when black eyes start to heal, it turns kind of yellow. I'd like to know what else is under here. And there's a bruise here, but I think that's a busted lip in my opinion. It seems to be discoloration from the corner of his mouth to the side of his chin. Yeah. Oh, yes, of course, Sharon. um, yes, the original call was about missing children. Then when you start investigating, you look at every avenue that's involved in the missing children. Yes, JDR, I think so. I think some of the reasons they missed was to hide bruises. I don't think Lily had a cough at all. Daniel said she had a black eye. Right? Countering misinformation in situations where false or misleading information is circulating, the RCMP might release accurate information to the media to correct the record and manage public perception. Looks like a cold sore to you. It could be any one of those things. Could be cracked lips, could be busted lip, could be a cold sore. Yes, I see swelling on the side of the face as well, Nomo. Got ya. Thank you, Wendy. If you look at the top lip right here, guys, it's darker red there. So it does make me wonder. And doesn't it seem like he's holding the bottom lip out a little bit funny because maybe it hurts? I don't know. Did he bite when he was hit? His lip? I don't know. We could second guess all day long, right? What kind of life did they have? Yeah. Breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. Yes, this was a December photo. Somebody cropped it. It was a photo taken of all the kids in the forest. And somebody cropped it to show Jack. So you can see the hood of another child, pink hat, right there. So sometimes leaks can be a calculated tactic to gauge public reaction to a potential course of action or to influence public opinion. Information might be leaked to put pressure on suspects. I agree. I agree. Or to gain a strategic advantage in an ongoing investigation. Leaks can also be used to manage public perception during sensitive or controversial investigations. Yep, definitely swollen there. Yeah, because honestly, guys, what would have stopped them from doing the same thing to Meadow? Yeah. Yep. I know. A poor baby. And then we wonder why he didn't smile. Night, Brian. Good to see you. Yeah. I honestly cannot look at that one anymore. Let's look at this one while we talk. I'd rather look at this one. I realize that little Jackie is very little there, but I'd rather look at that. He's got a half smile on his face. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. She has minimized it completely. And guys, we all know that that is the mark of a DV survivor. whenever she does wake up to realize what she did, it's going to be a rough one. Going to be a rough one. Yeah. So let's go with our grannyism for today. Is this what family is like? The feeling that everyone is connected, that with one piece missing, the whole thing's broke? Trenton Lee Stewart. It does feel like that when a piece of your family is missing, but I'm sure that's how Seth feels, that the whole thing is broke because his son is gone. I'm sure that's how Belinda feels, right? Yeah. Janie was criticizing Jack for not smiling or talking to her. There's no wonder. Yeah, I agree with you. You know, Belinda is the only one speaking up for Jack and Lily, in my opinion. She's the only one. They should be. Do you think Daniel's ashamed? I think Malaya may be feeling a little bit of shame. A little bit. But do you think Daniel or Janie is ashamed? Do you think Wade or Cindy um, are ashamed for not pushing the issue? For not reporting the abuse? Hi, Kimmer. Yeah. Nope, no child should live how they did. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Keep the pressure on, Belinda, because you're the one person being their voice. There are no posters or flyers on the res. Wow. Well, that's good to hear. I hope that's really true. That's good to hear. Some people have no conscience. Yeah. You know, and that breaks my heart even more, right? I mean, look at the little girl who was left out on the side of a highway in a ditch for 3 days because her mother told her to stay there. She was 3 years old. What a good little baby. Her mom told her to stay there, and she stayed there. Thank God she was found. Thank God she was found. Imagine what she had to go through with a mother. That mother was whacked out. I saw her videos. That mother, I don't know. Yeah. We do need to do better. Children are our future, guys. And how many times have we been saying we do not understand, the world has just become horrific? Well, it's because we're not taking care of our children. Because we're not taking care of our children, they grow up to be serial red rummers and psychopaths and sociopaths and DV offenders and you name it. I believe people should have free choice. But I will say this. I think that any SO should have to have one. Yes. Yes, they should be. But are they? Yes, Jaden Spicer. Right here. Yes. All right. So yes, share that out, guys. For Jaden. And let's keep Belinda in our prayers. It's just, oh wow, prayer warrior. Find myself looking at homes as we drive by, wondering how many kids we're passing that need help. That's sad. I agree. No plea deals. Stop the plea deals already. I agree. Yep. Travis Decker. There's just 3 babies with their mom. Well, yeah. Or even just reached out to Belinda. She would have got help. Or taken them herself, probably, right? There's ways that you can reach out. There's ways that you can reach out. You know what? We need to leave this on a fun note, right? We need a fun note. Not because, yeah, everything.
Derwood's got a swagger, a wild little flair. Struts like a model, doesn't even care. Too sexy for his chair. Yeah, he's floating on air. Too sexy for his chair. Too sexy, he don't care. White girls bouncing, he's a walking affair. Oh, Derwood, you're too sexy for your chair. His reflection winks back, yeah, it knows the deal. Every step he takes, it's a catwalk reel. The world can't handle, oh, the way he feels. He's got that vibe, that glow. A little too much, but we can't say no. Too sexy for his chair. Too sexy, stop and stare. White girl shining, he's beyond compare. Oh, Derwood, too sexy for your chair. He's got that vibe, oh, that glow. A little too much, but we can't say no. Too sexy for his chair. Too sexy, stop and stare. White curls shining, he's beyond compare. Oh, Durwood, you're too sexy for your chair. He dances through the kitchen, spins in the hall. Even his shadow's having a ball. That chair's jealous, can't compete at all.
Oh, I had to do that. I had to leave on a good note instead of a sad note, right? Oh my gosh. Uh, I love the fact that I found a free app that would make him dance in his chair. Oh. So I hope that puts you guys in a good frame of mind for to the end of the show. So I will hopefully see you tomorrow night. I like the part where he's almost falling off his chair and he goes, ah. Oh my gosh. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being here and for all your gifts. You guys are awesome. I really do appreciate each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart. I really do. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching another episode of Granny's Crime Busters. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and even share the content. You can follow us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We really appreciate you guys, and you can also email us at granny'scrimebusters@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.